one of the employees here at the Ballantyne Hotel named Frank Aquilone, shout out to Frank. He was kind of pitching the idea of having a disc golf tournament out on the golf course. So when management came around and said, sure, let's try it, you know, he reached out to me and said, well, you know, what do we need to do? And I said, well, I can tell you all that stuff, or I can just do it. You know, I'll run the event and we'll work out a deal and all that kind of stuff, and they went for it. So now this is the 4th year for the event. It's been going well. All the feedback's been great. And, you know, every time we finish up, I ask management here, like, hey, what do you guys think? How did it go? And they say, you guys are so much better than the golfers. It's, you know, I take that as some high praise.
That's awesome. After hearing about the idea, how long was it before it came to fruition?
It was actually very quick, or it was probably December of 2015, I guess. 2 months later, we were out here playing a tournament.
Has the layout changed over time?
It has been pretty consistent until this year. We had 2 or 3 holes that we took away this year and added a couple others. A little bit of that was necessity. You know, the golf course, so it's kind of unique. We use the back 9 of the golf course, and the golfers still play the front 9. So they can come out here and play 2 loops and get their 18 holes in, and then the other holes are for us. So this year we ended up losing one of the golf holes. So one of the par 4s went away just because of that. And then, you know, we brought in a couple other par 4s and changed things around a little bit. And so far all the feedback's been good. We had the practice day yesterday. So about 50 players went through it and everybody came back saying I love it. So I was really proud of that, and shout out to my co-designer Jeremy Coling on that too.
Big Germ, having him out here, it's nice to have a big name. Any other 1,000 rated players or anything? Or?
Yeah, we've got a few. Dan Hastings, we got Austin Turner. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. We got the leaderboard over here. We can take a look in a minute, but yeah, we've got some really good competition. That was one of the other changes from previous years, is the weekend actually changed. So this tournament would usually be the weekend after Valentine's Day, and then this year it's the weekend before. So all the players that would be gone on tour, because they usually leave, you know, this week, so they were able to join us this time, which is really cool.
Talked with Nate Queen and Philip Bartholomew. They just left to start the tour. For the people that don't know, what makes it different from just playing a tournament here, tournament there, close to where you live, and then being on tour? What's that big difference?
The only real kind of tour experience I have like this is, you know, I went and played a golf course tournament on the way up to Maple Hill one time, so I was on tour for a couple weeks. But, you know, the biggest difference for that is that a lot of the time you're going to be just so far away from home. You know, your friends and family, besides the people who are also on tour, your friends and family are pretty far away. So, you know, I imagine that's got to be pretty tough. And living at home and working 5 days a week kind of guy, I can't imagine missing everybody back home that much, you know, while you're out there on the road. But I'm sure it's tough.
So that's when the disc golf community kind of steps up and you know, helps out, and you see like the love between all the players. So is it true you work at Innova? What do you do there exactly?
Well, my job has recently changed there actually. For the last couple years, I was the sales manager. So I've kept a role in the sales department, but I've moved on to be the director of college disc golf. So that's a new thing. It's really pretty exciting. We've got a lot of potential going on. The national championship is coming up here at the end of March. So that's going to be a lot of things happening there, and you know, kind of growing into it right now. So really excited. So
I feel like our state's representing pretty well. NC State's been doing you know, pretty good. So what other schools that don't have a team yet are you know, looking to kind of get in?
There's a whole bunch. I've been in talks with a lot of different programs. You know, and as it grows and becomes more mainstream, you know, a lot of teams or a lot of schools, there's a little bit of support available for the teams, but for a lot there's none. You know, they're starting from scratch. So you know, I don't have a list off the top of my head for who's kind of getting into it right now. I know Wofford, I've been talking to them a little bit here, fairly local over in Spartanburg, and there's a few others like that that are looking to sort of just start a team and become competitive.
So speaking of Innova, they're always coming out with new stuff, but I heard talk of one, the Corvette. Have you thrown this disc yet?
Yeah, I'm really lucky. I get to test out some stuff before it's released, and that's one that I've thrown a little bit. We actually threw it out here as we've been testing the layout some, and it's really fast. It's nice. It's got a little bit of turn to it, and then a good bit of fade at the end. So I know Jerem actually. So one of my other roles at Innova is the East Coast team contact. So dealing with a lot of the players, I kind of have a really good sense of what they throw and how they throw and all that. And I know Germ immediately wanted to get 10 or 12 of those to have some for this year on tour. Just a really good high-speed driver. I think it's going to be a popular one.
It's nice for those that sort of perfected the form and stuff, but when you want to get that max distance. So is it, what's the speed on it?
That's a 14.
14, man. Blazing the trail.
Yeah, you got to be able to really get some speed on it to get it to perform. If you don't throw it a 14 speed throw, it's going to probably be a lot more overstable. But for those guys with the big arms getting it out there and up to speed, it's going to turn some and then come back.
So it's kind of an interesting name. I haven't really heard of any like vehicles or anything like that. Should we be looking out for T-Birds or anything like? Well, or I guess we already got the T-Bird.
Yeah, I was going to say the T-Bird's a good example, actually.
Yeah.
But the Corvette, actually, like way before the cars, it's a big battleship.
Oh.
So yeah, there's a few like that, actually, that, and that's kind of the common thing, is people haven't heard it that way before.
And Henry, really appreciate your time. I appreciate all the work that goes in. I know these hybrid events are a large undertaking. Yeah, just wish you best of luck and have fun.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the 2019 Ballantyne Hotel Open, presented by Innova, Played Against Sports, coverage provided by Sublime Flight. Myself, Jeremy Coling, and Henry Childress, two course designers at this fantastic hotel and resort in Charlotte, North Carolina. I want to welcome Henry Childress.
Hey guys, how you doing?
They're doing great, they told me. We've got the final round lead card, and we see that Dan Hastings is off to a fantastic start with his new disc with Discraft, and Bobby Jones all the way down from New York, and Jordan Davidson, Ryan Wirt, and Will Taylor, the only local on the card.
Yeah, Ryan's local as well. He's actually from Rock Hill, good up and coming player here in the area.
And as I mentioned, this is Dan's third tournament, I believe, with Discraft, and he had a kind of a struggle through the first two, but it takes people sometimes a little bit longer than others to really figure out the new stability and all that with the new disc, get comfort. And that's a nice drive out there. Hole one's a par 4, 600 something feet. How far is it?
671, and yeah, it's a long starting hole, a lot of OB. The bunkers on this hole are out of bounds, so that's something the players have to deal with here off the tee.
Bobby likes to talk to his shots. If you ever play with Bobby, he's a lot of fun. He will talk your ear off, but in a way that's not, distracting. It's just Bobby being Bobby.
With a smile on his face.
Yeah, certainly. And this is sawed off left, early release, straight into the bunker, and that is going to be unfortunately out of bounds. Does not skip out. And as you said, Ryan Wirt from Rock Hill, South Carolina. This is the fourth or
the fourth year of this event, yeah.
Fourth annual, and this has been something that's kind of fun to be able to get out on the golf course. It's something you see quite a bit in other places on tour, but we really haven't had too much of that, especially down here in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is really well known for being a very tightly wooded area of the southeast, and to be able to get out there and throw some shots and see them fly for upwards of 500-600 feet is not something you get to see too much in this area.
Yeah, much more technical golf around here. And Jordan here, I'm not sure what he's got going on, but he just played that from out of bounds.
And this is not a hazard rule. Sometimes you can play from sand bunkers. And Will Taylor has said something. Unfortunately, it's after the throw.
So a bit of a misplay there, but he is moved to the correct spot now. Looks like he's lining up a shot here, so there's going to be a penalty involved here.
One off the tee, throwing 3 with a penalty stroke. He's throwing his 4th shot now for the practice throw, and it's not the start you're looking for after a nice round 1. Good recovery shot, though. Looks like he might be putting for a bogey 5, which would be a phenomenal score.
Yeah, once you have that misplay, I mean, you're in real trouble there. So there is an out-of-bounds cart path down behind the green there. So you see the players dealing with that a little bit here on their second shots or 5th shots, depending.
And that's what's really what I like about this hole a lot is you really have to throw it far to get yourself in a position where you feel comfortable with this blind, just slightly over the hill second shot.
You see Bobby hoping it's going to hook up at the end so it doesn't get the find the out of bounds down there on the green.
That looked like a good shot. And Dan crushes drive, able to throw a nice little pitch sidearm. This can skip OB long if he wasn't careful, but I'm not quite sure if that stayed in. I think he should be fine. Oh no, and does that? It looked like that may have also rolled out of bounds, but could have rolled back in. It's hard to see from this angle.
Yeah, we'll find out here in just a moment.
Oh, that's a great start there. Beautiful 32-foot putt for birdie from Dan. And that's a nice birdie as well. Chilly conditions, and really the tough thing was this weather was actually nice all week leading up to this event, and the day of, oh no.
Yeah, Jordan's going to have to shake that off and focus here. This round is just getting started.
Yeah, and that, I believe Jordan did roll back inbounds, but that was still putt for 6, and this will be a tap-in for 7 after the penalty stroke for the misplayed lie. Had he not gone back and played it from the back of the bunker, though, that would have been a 2-stroke penalty for playing from the wrong lie. So that was at least good that they caught that. So, but still, that's a disastrous start. Dan with a nice birdie, and moving on to hole 2. 2 is just a very short, kind of across the corner here. As you can see, the basket's on that little mound there. If you come up short, you can go out of bounds. There's water pretty much all the way from the tee to the pin up into this little mound.
Yeah, this is a pretty fun little hole. It's a good chance for an ace. That cart path there is not out of bounds.
And we actually had someone in our card misplay that as well, because it seems like it naturally would just be out of bounds, but you know, it's kind of embarrassing when being a co-designer of the course, I didn't know that was not out of bounds, but ugh.
And a great shot there from Ryan.
Oh, we get a little replay.
Looks like he may be throwing a Sexton Firebird there.
Oh yeah, that was definitely that right color, nice stability, hanging out there wide. And look at this ground play, just snag it up. Oh yeah, that's dinner for 2 right there. And if you're looking super close, yes, there is some precipitation in the air too, which is kind of annoying. You know, like it's already cold.
Yeah, definitely disappointing conditions after the week that we had. This tournament is in February, and for the first 3 years of the event, we had temperatures in the 60s, so it was just...
Wow.
I mean, the golf course has got to be kicking themselves for letting us be out there instead of having it full of golfers, but we're okay with it.
And you can really see that rain's coming down in the pond right behind the basket. And Chill Will, as we call him, just off the cage low. Moving around to Bobby Jones. Kind of strange putting from the cart path. Not something you're used to doing in disc golf.
Yeah, teeing from the concrete, sure. Putting, not so much.
Nope. Good birdie putt. And Dan just able to squeak that over into the basket for his 2. And Ryan will come up and tap in his birdie and see if we can get Jordan and Will in for their pars. Yes, sir.
So the third hole here has a lot of out of bounds. That cart path is OB, so you definitely have to get your disc turned, and it's much further up the hill than it looks like maybe from the video. So it's you know, it plays a lot longer than it actually reads.
Speaking of reads, trying to throw hyzer over and catching that last tree. Really not reeds at all, just the pampas grass, which you do not want to be in, and obviously cuts you up real nice. Dan almost executing that perfect shot, but this hole is so scary, and you can't. it's not too prevalent, but there is just enough of a headwind that it scares you a little bit, and this shot never crossed past that second bend, so Bobby will be coming up short probably 80 feet or so, throwing his third to a green that you don't really want to attack just for the rollaway potential.
Yeah, it's nice uphill, but it doesn't really have that backboard like you sometimes do on an uphill green.
You can attack it from the tee, but if you hit any metal on their putt, bad things happen so quick.
And being that these are portable targets, the base of the target is there in play as well. So if you sneak it right up against it, you can actually roll away from hitting the bottom, on the ground.
Oh, and actually, I thought he played a really nice shot to take the out of bounds out of play. Cut rolls back in bounds, and that might be a little bit of that headwind we're talking about. And Jordan power and a hyzer pin high. That was a good shot.
That was a big one. So there's that long look that we were talking about, trying to keep it close, but not too close.
And Joe Will's got, looks like 50 feet for his par.
Yeah, it could be even longer.
And it certainly plays longer with how far that is. It's probably 8 feet higher than where he's standing. So hard to get that putt high enough. And we were talking about potentially moving this hole from 2 to 3 for next year to make a nice par 4. Would be a really fun, extremely difficult hole where you have to go across water, maybe a 350-foot carry. Be a really, really cool hole.
Yeah, nice putt there from Ryan. Yeah, we were looking at potentially doing that. That would be a lot of challenge, a lot of out of bounds to contend with, and a big change for the course.
And that's just the fun of designing a course. Look at that. Just takes no time. I love that attitude. Just
quick draw.
Yeah, you can see what got him here on the lead card first round. Able to shake off that triple bogey first with a nice birdie on hole 3. One of the harder holes on the course. You don't see many twos.
For sure.
Only birdie in the card. Oh, actually, no. Ryan got the birdie as well. 2 birdies. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, that hole takes either a great putt or a great drive. I mean, you have to really put a move on the disc off the tee and get just the right angle with that right amount of power too. So that's an impressive one.
Do not pay attention to 342 feet. That is definitely not the case here on this hole. Hole 4 is probably pushing upwards of 450, maybe a little bit longer than that.
Probably, and it's uphill, so it plays even longer. This one, this was one of the changes this year as well. And we backed up the tee to play from the cart path. So it's a little bit different angle than that tee sign would show you.
Oh, that's a really nice shot.
That was a big shot, yeah.
Jordan's got a lot of power.
That was surprising, yeah.
And also a lot of power is this guy right here, Dan Hastings. And look at the line on this thing. That takes so much trust to attack that with a little anhyzer. I mean, gosh, he looked like he fully ripped it, and he came up short of Jordan's by at least 30 feet.
Yeah, whatever that disc was, he trusts that one. He knows it.
And Bobby, this is scary. Oh, a really nice kick. That looked like that could have been dangerous.
Absolutely. And another cart path that swings way over to the left. So if you cross out of bounds early and don't make your way back because you've hit a tree or something like that, you can be way further back than you really want playing your third.
You're going to have a bad time.
You're going to have a bad time.
And looks like Ryan parked his approach shot, so once again, we got to thank Sublime for coming out here in these cold, wet conditions. There's just one camera. It's not an easy task. Some of these holes being blind, it's a difficult thing to try to capture the disc completely, and we thank him for his time coming out here. And this would be a big birdie putt here for Dan from about 45 feet. And
they say you got to get it up to get it in.
That's what they say. I do appreciate the step up fast thing, but I'm not even sure if his foot was down on the ground before he released that. And Will is in for par. It looks like we're going to have a whole slew of pars.
That's a really interesting green. I like that one a lot. Get some different stances than you might be used to from an 8-foot putt like that. It makes you maybe take an extra second.
Sure. Yeah, and if you have a 15-foot putt, but you're going 8 feet down, a lot of times something I'll do is I'll just go down to a knee just because I don't want to putt straight down. It's not something that's
for sure
really that comfortable. Hole 5 is a new hole When Henry and I were designing this course 4 years ago, we were looking at maybe putting something here, and we didn't really have the opportunity. Didn't really make sense with the design and the flow, but this year we really wanted to bring that into... Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That's a great shot.
This shot is totally lined up for a big hyzer, as you see Jordan throwing the preferred shot. The forehand line is there, but it's so scary. And
as you may be able to tell, it's kind of hard to see from the angle that we've got here, but the bunker there that's out of bounds is really, really in play with the backhand. If you hit the trees at all, that islanded trees, you've got a really good chance of ending up out of bounds. So I see why Ryan opted for the sidearm, but man, that's a man's sidearm.
Ooh, nice shot, Dan Hastings, skipping past that bunker. And another thing, I don't know if you can really get a true feel for it from this angle, but there's at least 25 feet of elevation drop on this hole. Look at that, Bobby just rings around the rosy, and you can't see the base of the pin from the tee, so he won't know how close he really is until they start making their way down this hole.
Yeah, there's a nice little kind of a keyhole window that you can see the chains, hopefully catching a really awesome view of an ace.
Oh, wow.
These are good shots.
Really. Only one drive, not in almost guaranteed birdie position.
And now you can kind of see the trees that they're contending with off the tee.
Right.
There's a lot of obstacles down there near the target.
And Ryan makes that putt. He's off to a good start. Never seen Ryan play before. Clearly he's a player who's got a solid backhand and a solid sidearm there. That's I didn't even line up the sidearm shot. It just seemed like such an obvious spike hyzer.
Yeah, and he's a great putter as well. Definitely seen his name at the top of the putting league leaderboards around here.
Dan in for his nice birdie.
And we did, so from Tournament Central, I wasn't sure about the winds out here, but in our practice day, we had a pretty substantial right to left wind, so I could definitely see if that was consistent, playing up that left side. All right, we've got a nice another downhill shot here, the 6th hole. Lots of options off this tee. We had a little bit of a friendly disagreement in how to design this one.
Yeah.
Jerm would like to see it a little bit different. For now, we've got a lot of options. Maybe in the future it could be a double mando. We'll see. I'll have to stay tuned for that.
It's a nice shot here. Dan's electing to go for the big hyzer play, which, if you've got it, that's the shot you're going to go with. It's pretty wide open if you go out far left. Just take something probably overstable zone there for Dan. And I'm kind of chuckling because it's, when you stand on the tee, I don't think it feels that gimmicky, but when you're looking back up towards the hole, it's kind of funny seeing that these guys are throwing from the restrooms. But it actually has a really nice flat teeing surface area, and there's really no height issues.
Yeah.
So it's it just makes sense for the hole. But
it's the station for restrooms, water, and birdies.
Yeah, sure. As Will says, I agree with that. And the player who's never received a 30-second violation in his entire disc golf career is able to step up and park that with a nice sidearm.
So we may be able to see or hear. There's a good effort there from Ryan. There's some water there. You can actually see the drop off behind the target. So good putt there. Yeah,
the speed control is really important as you go down this hill. If you're 2 feet higher than you'd like, once you crest that hill, there's a good chance you will keep sliding all the way down towards that water.
Yeah, and that's a good time to mention we had an awesome sponsor and a friend of mine, Levon Wolf, InZone, with the disc retrievers. So we had a good opportunity to get your disc back, but you don't want to have that penalty stroke for finding the water.
Oh, certainly. And I got to say, thanks to Levon personally, I got one of his retrievers this year, and I've been using it all year, and it's come in handy so many times. I got the extra long one with the hook at the end. And if a disc's stuck in a tree, you don't have to worry about a big wide retriever getting stuck in the tree branches. You can just go all the way through it. And he's not paying me to say that, but I love that thing. It's just an awesome tool to use. Anyways, moving on to hole 7. As you see, Dan's lead is safely at 2 strokes so far. This is a really fun par 4 where the player is really able to just step up, grip it, and rip it.
Yeah, this hole is going to play to his strengths. Long arm off the tee. There is a bit of a mound where the target is, so you have to control that disc angle coming in. But getting off the tee and getting some big distance is a huge advantage on this hole.
And we have a headwind coming up the hill, which takes a wide fairway like this and it makes it a little bit narrower. You do have a lot of space out left, so players are most likely going to step up with a somewhat overstable driver just to fight that headwind. But if a drive starts to turn over, there is trouble on the right side as well. You've got a big hillside and you got a creek down there that's out of bounds.
Yeah, big drop off, and as Jerm mentioned, out of bounds, but also really tough to play from down there.
I would know. I found that in the second round, and it was not awesome. This needs to get some distance. Oh my gosh, this guy's got...
Jordan throws like 800 feet, I think.
Oh no!
Wow. I didn't expect anybody to get into that second bunker off this tee. I'm going to have to change this hole.
That's really far.
That is really far.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
I mean, sucks that you're out of bounds.
Unfortunately out of bounds, but distance was awesome.
Yeah, good job on that one. And a nice safe shot there for Ryan.
So there you can see the woods off to the right, creek down at the bottom of this hill. Not too in play for any of these guys who got left off the tee. And there you go. Will coming up just a little bit short, but a very reasonable putt.
And very good distance control.
And Bobby doing the hokey pokey.
I think he's waiting for us to actually drive our carts past the basket. Yeah, that slow skip play is really tough to control when you're playing on grass, on golf course grass like this, and getting the skip the way you want takes a lot of trust. And
as Dan showed us right there, that was nice.
That's how you do it.
Ryan, I'm guessing he's probably throwing that same Sexton Firebird again from here.
Man, it looked like he overjuiced it. That went past the basket. It's hard to say exactly how far, but it looks like he crushed it pretty good.
Looks like Jordan learned his lesson on hole 1, so he's played it from the correct spot at least, throwing a nice sidearm approach.
I kind of love his approach to the game. Like he's just like,
yeah, I don't want to call him casual, but walking up there and just being ready to go is admirable for sure.
Yeah, he knows his game. He steps up. He's ready to throw. He does it. Doesn't want to think long, think wrong. Some people say. I don't know if I disagree or agree, but I think it's a interesting concept to maybe consider for yourself at some point. If you think that you're overthinking putts, maybe just step up and trust your abilities and just do it.
Yeah, once you put the reps and the time in and practice, you just got to trust that and let it do its work. It was a good aggressive bid from Ryan there. An unfortunate bounce off the top leaves him with about a 20-footer.
Oh no, too much shampoo left in the bottle. He's still got to putt out. He's still working on the conditioner now. He's putting for a bogey from 25 feet. Back where he just came from.
Worst 3 words in golf.
You're still out. Billy Crump used to say, YSO. Oh no. And he's gone back to where he just came from again. This putt for double bogey. And really not bad putts. It's just that little bit of that mound just showing why putting on wide open holes like this is tough. And this is going to be a 5-putt. That's just terrible to see. That's
not fun. I have been on video putting back and forth, and it is very sad.
Oh. Wow. A really tough 7 coming up for Ryan. A good birdie from Dan. He's playing great.
Definitely kept his composure for sure.
It's tough to see a player. when you have a putt that's not a gimme by any means, seeing somebody going back and forth so many times, sometimes it can make you question your own putt. I mean, it's you versus the course, but sometimes when you see something like that, it can influence the way that you feel about yourself.
Sure, some thoughts start creeping in there, and maybe you start questioning what you know to be true.
No, that's good to see. Bobby consoling Ryan, and he's able to smile and walk off, but man, that's a tough break for Ryan, who had a really good start so far.
Yeah, he's feeling it right now.
Drops back to 4th place. Moving on to hole 8, one of the more, I think one of the better changes of the course. It took a par 3 that was a really nice, fun par 3 and turned it into this monster of a downhill par 4. 2 full shots for most players. If you can throw it 500 feet, then you can set yourself up for a nice mid-range, but it's still going to be kind of a long mid-range.
Yeah, this is a big shot off the tee. The same creek is along the right side of the fairway in those same woods down there, so throwing downhill, going for big distance, it is really easy to let it get away from you and find that out of bounds, or at least a really tough spot again over there. Actually out of bounds, because the cart path is along the right side.
And then once you get down to the bottom of the hill, the basket is on the back edge of the golf green, which is obviously out of bounds. So there is some out of bounds to speak of, but it's mostly just about controlling the distance on 2 shots. And as we've seen so far, oh no!
Oh man.
And the kick right out of bounds, that is a brutal break for Jordan, because he's got obviously all the distance in the world to get there in 2 shots.
I was really excited to see where his drive was going to go, and not excited at all to see that result.
Oh.
That's a bummer.
And that was a crush. Nice recovery shot for Ryan. But man, I didn't even really think that sidewalk would come into play right there. But those early trees, if you're trying to throw a flex play, if you're not trying to throw the hyzer, then those trees do come in play, as you can see.
Yeah, you are, I wouldn't say forced to hit that gap off the tee, but if you want to throw any kind of distance off the tee, you do have to throw between 2 of those trees.
Oh.
It's a generous gap, but this one's getting away from him a bit as well.
Oh, this is going out of bounds again.
That may be over near the next tee.
I didn't see the OB graphic, but I can't imagine that not being out of bounds.
Yeah.
And Bobby going with a low flip up, as he tends to throw quite a bit. And that is going to skip over the corner of the green. That's going to leave him a long, maybe 50-foot birdie putt.
I think maybe a bit longer too. I mean, those mounds and that big drop down there, it might be a little longer than that even.
Oh, what a shot we have here. It's just like beautiful. You can really see the undulations of this course that really give it the character that it has. And Dan going with a big full flex here.
Wow.
That's pin high 30 feet, and the way he's putting, that's a good look for birdie.
Yeah, that was a great shot. You could see he really had to flip it and control that angle, not let it keep turning to obviously avoid that big pond over there. And I'm really happy you can see some of this elevation here. A lot of times it's hard to capture that on film, so another props due to Sublime flight.
Oh no, this looks like it's getting stable towards the end, so
Hopefully
it doesn't
long enough to stay off the green.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay. All right. That turned out better than it looked initially.
Definitely. I was worried we were going to see it sticking in the green and have to edit that out so the Ballantyne folks couldn't see it.
Yeah. And once again, thanks so much to Ballantyne for giving us this beautiful piece of property to have a nice event at least once a year, hopefully twice maybe, perhaps in the future.
Never know.
It'd be pretty cool to get out here sometime in the spring or summer.
Yeah, it's a great venue, and good folks there. I mean, they're just so easy to work with and very accommodating. And a shout out to all the players who've played this event every year. I always follow up and ask how it went for the perspective of the good bid, from the perspective of the hotel. And every year they've said you guys are better than the golfers.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's been amazing to hear. I love that.
And Ryan, the last thing you want to do is start doubting yourself when you're putting on this course, because there's so many baskets in precarious positions. So hopefully he can make that next putt and just walk away with his par.
Yeah, and it was good to see a confident bid from him there. If he missed that low, I might start worrying about him. But
yeah, exactly. He didn't miss low. That's a really good sign of somebody who's still trusting their putt. As Dan continues his really good round. Maybe the trust is starting to slip away. You can see him looking at his hands. And the hard thing about this is when the rain has gone away, but it's still cold, and sometimes those knuckles start seizing up. And
yeah, getting the pop out of your hand on these short putts is, I feel like, the scariest part, because he's staring down the lake the whole time on that one.
So Jordan is having a tough hole, 2 out of bounds, 2 missed putts so far. And we're seeing some big numbers for these guys, unfortunately, right now, except for Dan and Will and Bobby. They're all still playing pretty well.
Nobody's super out of it yet, for sure. We've had some.
I'd say Jordan's probably out of it at this point.
Yeah, that was a little rough there.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's going to be a 8 for Jordan. But like I said, Dan taking his 1-stroke lead after round 1 to a comfortable 4.
Rolling right along.
Moving on to hole 9. Another new hole on the course.
Yep,
Before, it was kind of just like a little sidearm dump down the hill, and now it's actually an incredibly tricky angle for being at the distance that it is, like 315 feet or so.
Yeah, and this shot here from Bobby looks like the one I was just about to talk about, because if you're throwing that backhand, it looks like he's come up a little short, but if you're throwing that backhand, the height and the nose angle is incredibly important. It's hard to see from here, but you can see the target straight through the trees from the tee, but it is a big left to right turning shot, so Will's shot here is maybe going to show us.
Yeah, I think
he's got a little low.
I think Will's throwing ESP Comet. And Ryan is going once again with his Sexton Firebird, and that's kind of that's the problem, is that the angle is so far to the right that you really have to have a ton of height and glide. That's a great shot.
Yeah, it was a little hard to see that angle as it went high, but with that hyzer angle that popped up and had some glide, I mean, that's sort of the play here if you're going to throw a sidearm. Throwing something overstable wide and having it dive down, it's really tough to get it close to this target, as you can either hit up on the flat and stick, or hit on the angle of the hill and skip away.
Yeah, that hillside really is really tricky for any sort of consistency with skips, and it's hard to see whether or not Ryan was out of bounds, but that creek certainly comes in play quite close.
Definitely. Nice casual.
I love it, man.
27-foot putt.
At least.
Behind it.
I think that was a full 30, 32, man.
Here's the replay. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
No big deal. Just perfect putt.
Okay.
And walk it in. Noted.
Well, I love it. Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Yeah.
Attack, man.
Yeah.
I feel like he's winning many battles, but like overall, like he's kind of losing the war. But you're feeling for him.
He's suffered some losses in the big picture, and Bobby looked like he was wondering if it was his turn a little bit. I'm not sure. It looks like everybody else a good bit closer.
Is that what he was asking?
I'm not sure what he said, but it seemed like he had some doubt in his mind before he threw that putt.
Yeah. Really fun backhand birdie to get, so kind of a bummer that Bobby will just be walking away with a par. Bobby really needs these putts to go down if Dan's going to have... Was that a birdie for Dan, or was that a...
I thought it was. Let's see.
Nope. No, it wasn't. It was a par, so yeah. Big opportunity there for Bobby there, and he's going to drop 3 strokes, and now he's down 4 with just 9 holes remaining in the tournament.
And it's actually, I'm not sure if you guys are as familiar with Bobby and Dan, maybe Dan a little bit more, but Dan actually moving down here, relocating from upstate New York, has brought some of these players down for this event every year, so I appreciate that part. And Bobby's actually been his mentor for a long time, so it's really cool to see them battle it out here on the lead card.
Yeah, and that's actually not out of bounds. This whole, you're teeing off from the cart path, and it is a snake
path,
river?
The cart path itself is out of bounds.
Okay.
But across is not, because as you guys will see, when we get up to the green, the target is on the left. Up there, you see it there.
And once again, this was another disagreement that we had. I think that we will probably go away from this in the future. I'm not a huge fan of cart path OBs, but that's just we can talk about that amongst one another.
Yeah, this one I think is going to change a little bit. There's some... we're going to make it a lot longer and more uphill.
At 666 feet, this hole seems like you can reach it in 2 shots. Let me tell you what.
You could.
Nope. No,
but
you
probably
can't.
Not.
Nope. I challenge Simon to get there in 2 shots. It's not happening.
I could do it.
Okay.
Jerm could do it.
Okay, I tried my hardest, and I'm telling you, man, it is the farthest 666 feet you will ever play. It is so freaking far. Okay, so obviously you can get there in 2 shots if you've got 400 feet of power, but it plays, you maybe 450 feet of power.
If you have 450 or 500, I think it's a little bit more comfortable. I mean, if you're throwing as hard as you possibly can to get the distance, that's where the challenge really comes in, because the second shot, if you do throw a 500-foot drive, you're throwing so far uphill and into a gap on the second shot. So as you guys can see, these players are pretty far back, and they're going to throw a full shot and try to control the angle, the height, etc., to get up close to really somewhere that they can approach the target.
Yeah, and Bobby's just not even. No one's so far really even attacked the pin. I'm not sure how many threes there were on the whole day, but I'm guessing there's less than 2.
I would take the under.
On 2?
Yeah, or maybe take the line. But yeah, that's a good guess, because this is a very, very challenging big hole up the hill. So here's, I'll call him Mr. Power himself. He threw a big drive.
Mr. Power?
I mean, in this group right now,
In this group, yeah,
far,
sure.
So,
And he's up. Yeah, Dan's certainly up there looking for the birdie.
but it is a bit of a struggle. I mean, even where he is, when you get up there, you're looking at it and it's maybe a 35-footer or something like that. But when you look at it, you're like, okay, it's a 50-foot putt.
And you can see the troubles of finishing left side. Jordan just throwing straight at it. I mean, the closest point between 2 points, there's a straight line. There's the shortest.
A straight disc is the closest line between 2 points.
That's why I have you here, because I don't know how
something like that.
I don't word good.
Will is he's caught the tree and luckily not rolled, but he's gonna have a long putt from there. Ryan looks like he's gonna do a run up into this putt.
More of a layup than anything else.
Yeah.
But it is kind of a green light. There's no trouble behind. You see Bobby giving it a bit of more of a aggressive run.
He had a good amount of body English on that shot, but not quite enough.
And Jordan taking the longest he's ever taken for a putt, ever.
0.2 seconds. And that's where you can sort of see, I mean, he was not too far away, and it still came up short.
And that's going to be a bogey for Will, I believe, right?
I think so.
Oh, no! Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's feeling comfortable right now with his lead, the way that the card's not really attacking too much or pressing, but at the same time, you know how hard this hole plays when you step up to it.
Yeah,
and to miss that short birdie putt, I'm sure that kind of hurt a little bit.
Yeah, he's not going to sweat the stroke, but, getting that successful feel of making that putt is really what he was after there.
And we'll be moving on to hole 11. One of the really fun signature holes in this course must be at least 35 feet in elevation change from tee to green. Pushed back a little bit further this year and off to the left just to keep players off the teeing areas, just for logistics. Sometimes it gets wet out there on the tees and we don't want to throw from slick teeing areas. But
yeah, we had some rubber tee mats out here in previous years, and as Jeremy mentioned, the logistics it was just more possible to do it this way. A lot of players actually came up and thanked me for having a consistent teeing surface on every hole, which was really good. Nice shot there from Bobby.
Bobby Jones, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful throw. Still kind of short. Yeah, I'm just really, once you play tournament and you start to see how far things play in the natural speed of the round, and as you're playing with a group, you really get a better feel for how the hole plays. And man, this one just seemed like it was maybe 40 feet too far for most of the field.
A big 500-foot shot, it's way downhill, as you mentioned, but it's hard to get the nose down on that shot enough to keep the disc moving forward. As we see, a lot of players here got it a little bit higher than they were really wanting to and faded out pretty far to the left.
Good approach shot from Ryan, and Dan with a little sidearm as well, just playing pitch-up golf. Easy par.
Looks like he was trying to keep that one out of the wind. Smart, safe approach from Will there, and...
Oh, good run from Jordan. Looks like we're going to have one look at a birdie putt. Let's see if Bobby can save the card's honor and pick up the awesome birdie on 11. You know it. That's awesome.
He shrugs it off like it's no big deal, but we see you.
Yeah, and he's got the style of shot that you really want to throw in this hole. Something control that flips up, that's really Bobby's game. And you're going to get that extra distance, especially going downhill. If these guys are trying to throw a stable shot down the hill, 3/4 of the way down all the way to the bottom of the hill, the disc is going to start hooking up and keeping it short and drifting way left. So
it's really going to bail out.
You really have to have a lot of trust in something that's just going to stay straight for that long of a shot. So really well done from Bobby. can't imagine there were too many birdies in the day on hole 11.
With the conditions that we had, I would agree. I mean, there was a little bit more wind than you would really want on that kind of shot, so I think you're probably right.
Hole 12, one of the more technical straight holes we have on the course. As you can see, just a nice little gap here. Try to get on that just past that mound. It's about another 45 feet past that lip.
Yeah, and it's a nice flat green, so he shouldn't have too scary of a putt there, but you certainly want to get it higher and a little bit closer. The cart path is not out of bounds on this hole, so no worries there for Jordan. Dan.
Oh, showcasing a little late flick.
You put a move on that one.
Yeah, nice shot over the hillside. Really well done. That's I give that shot a 9.3 out of 11.
I was going to ask out of what. Thanks for answering that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Looks like that same Sexton Firebird here. I'm sure Ryan wanted a little bit more anhyzer off the tee, but you do have to make that gap first and foremost.
Yeah, it's hard to take an overstable disc on this shot. I really think that it lends itself better to the flippy shot that you saw Will attempt there and Dan execute really well. And Will's playing pitch up again.
So here you can see how short Bobby's drive actually ended up just because it was a little bit low.
Typical Bobby.
So we are on a golf course. Sometimes you have some interesting obstacles. That T sign doesn't look like it's in the way at all for Ryan.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine.
The bush, though, a little bit in the way.
Jordan stepping up, hitting the band. And magically we replace Jordan with Dan Hastings.
It's not doubles, even though it looks like it.
They're actually kind of wearing similar clothing, too. And Dan, look at that stroke. He's always been known for a good putter. No surprise there to see him step up and make so many nice putts this round. But, you know, sometimes it can be tricky with a new putter, you know, getting used to a new company. And Dan looking like he's starting to really get comfortable after the shaky, rusty start that he had to the first two events. He's really showing he's starting to feel comfortable.
Definitely.
He's still got a 4-stroke lead with only 5 holes remaining, or 6 holes remaining, excuse me.
Yeah, they're going to play this one.
They're still going to play 13?
Yeah.
Okay. So 13 is, what was it, 280-something feet? Just across the little water.
Yeah, we lengthened this a little bit from previous years and brought the water more into play. Moved the tee up a little bit as well, though, so it's not much longer than it was before. But, you know, with the wind and everything, you've got to throw something that's, you know, you just got to get safe down there.
Bobby's not getting safe down there.
Ooh.
And I don't think that he crossed that corner, but that's going to be up for his group to decide. And you see Jordan going with probably something really overstable just to get that nice spike right up there on the green.
Well played.
And Will, who has a really good backhand mid-range game, surprised to see him going with the flick, but I guess he sees what he likes with Dan's shot and Jordan's shot and comes up a bit short, but up there on the dance green.
On the green floor?
On the dancing green. He's dancing on the green. On the dance floor.
Wasn't that an ABBA song, Dancing Green?
Yeah, Young and Sweet.
Something like that. A good shot there from Ryan. Same Firebird. Must be a staple for him. And it sounds, or it looks like, rather, that Jerome was correct. Bobby did not cross, so he was playing it from short of the water. Hey, he's back.
Yeah, there it is. Good confident strike. High and center. And Will from about a similar distance, 23 feet or so.
And 7 feet left of the golf cart. It's important for the wind.
Yeah, it's one of the nice things about the tournament is we get to drive these golf carts. Oopsie. But when it's cold outside, whoa! I'm sorry. He's been putting so well.
That was certainly unexpected.
Well, Dan got a birdie. So congrats to Dan. And Ryan with a nice putt. So with Will and Jordan struggling with a not very nice 3-putt. Hole 14 is a really fun little shot up and over a hillside, and you have to get it to stop on the second, and Dan has decided not to get it over the first hillside.
Yeah, he'll be all right. That's a putt. It's a death putt from there for sure. And this, I have to kind of credit Stan McDaniel, local legend, course designer here in Charlotte. He taught me a principle about not being able to see the bottom of the target. From this tee, you can see the top, but you can't see the bottom. And it makes it really scary to be able to judge the distance and not feel like you're going to go way past.
And especially when you can see right there how severe that slope is just behind the pin. So even though the hole comes in at what, like 210 feet or so?
Not much more than that, if any.
You really have to trust that distance as Bobby throws the backhand shot, which can be pretty scary. You don't see too many people going with the backhand. And you can see this hillside just playing tricks with everybody. No one quite trusting getting over that hill.
And that's the first layup I feel like we've seen from Ryan, so that tells you something about how scary this green is.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't feel like Dan's going to lay up.
No, there's nothing really scaring him right now. You know, he's putting well. Uh-oh.
There is an out-of-bounds cart path. There it is, but his disc is remote controlled very far away from that. And also very far away from the target.
It looks like Jordan's just going to step up, and he doesn't want to be bothered by waiting. Oh, gosh. No.
Oh, don't hit that.
Don't. Come back in bounds.
It crossed.
Don't do. No.
That's the kind of thing that, as a player, makes you say, what are the odds, really?
Well, that sucks. Back-to-back birdies turn into bogeys. Actually, that's going to be a double bogey for Jordan there. Oh, goodness. And Dan looking at like 50 feet for his par.
Probably plays like about 100 feet.
Oh, no!
And you can hear all the players pulling for him there. I mean, that's...
And Dan's maybe just a bit closer than his initial putt for birdie. And this is for bogey. This would be a huge putt if he can make this. You know that Bobby's watching this one closely. Wow.
Great putt there. Wow.
And Bobby, if that had missed, Bobby could have made it 3 strokes. But instead, it looks like Bobby's now going to be taking a bogey as well.
And putting from where Dan just was. Actually, maybe a step behind him.
And who would have thought that this...
There's some action going on.
200-foot hole could bring such scoring separation.
Well, and you saw Ryan just looking like a genius laying up his putt.
Oh, wow. Well, so we're going to have a 2, a 3, 2 4s, and a 5 on a 200-nothing foot hole.
It's the best scoring separation on the course.
It really might be, and it's just a fun little hole that'll really piss you off. It just really will.
Yeah, that could get under your skin for sure.
Well, I guess Dan's still pretty safe right now with that 6-stroke lead, but had there been a 3-stroke swing,
if you roll away 5 or 6 more times, we'd really be talking about something here.
Hole 15. God, I almost missed that. Hole 15 is blind 330 feet or so. I really should be paying attention to these flyovers. Well, there's not even a flyover, but the graphic.
That's a good shot right there.
Wow. And Will really would probably have no idea if there weren't the camera guy that shot was any good at all. 2 shots in a row have gone over the hollies. I'm really surprised by that.
Yeah, I'm definitely surprised by that. I was looking at more of this play here as a more traditional idea of what you want, although that one has leaked.
And that needs to get off the golf cart.
That found some grass, I believe, there, so he'll be safe. But the cart path does play out of bounds on this hole.
The cart path, that's not the golf cart.
The golf cart.
The golf cart path.
Yeah.
And this is what the shot that you were looking for, I believe. But
there's a look at it from there, definitely.
Ooh.
Jordan has power to spare, and he's going to throw a spike hyzer over the buildings and the city of Charlotte.
Oh, but he catches Gastonia right there on the way back into the town. Gastonia being a neighboring town if you're not from the area. I think Dan's going to have to lift his foot. Yeah,
looks like he's planning for that.
Okay, so he's going to lift his foot. He's going to stand out of bounds, but But to get the angle for the birdie look, he's got to lift his foot and kind of jump.
And his left foot is staying down.
Oh!
That was a good, smart play there to
Yeah.
open up that angle a little bit for him.
Oh, Bobby. Just off the left side chains. He's my favorite disc golfer of all time.
I love that. He just made that putt. He doesn't seem to care at all.
None.
His hood is sort of on part of his head, and he's getting a birdie.
This is his second slow motion replay of the round so far, and he's he's my hero.
If Unenthused had a face, it would beat Jordan at this moment.
Yeah.
That was great though. That's awesome to see.
He's the hero we all need right now.
We don't deserve him, but we got him.
Yeah. And Ryan in for par. Will in for birdie, yeah. The big the straight over the top play. Very strange play. Not something that I really saw anyone else try and practice
A premium on distance control in that shot. We've opened up a new part of the course here. We last year sort of played this one down the cart path, and the target hasn't moved, but the tee has moved about 600 or 700 feet. So
yeah. If you look about as far right into the screen as you can see up on the hill is basically where the tee used to be. But now we are going across the water, and probably my favorite looking tee shot on the course. Aesthetically, It's just really nice. And that out of bounds comes in play super quick right behind the pin. If you've got a lot of power, as this guy has been showing us all around that he does, then you can certainly drive it long.
And this hole actually during this round was aced.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome. Just threw it straight in the basket. So it is possible. It seems like that was probably going to go right out of bounds if it didn't catch some chains.
Oh, he totally admitted to it in the award speech. He said, "Yeah, I'd like to thank the basket for catching my disc because I was going straight out of bounds."
Yeah, we see Ryan finding some more out of bounds there. This probably has the most diverse group of out of bounds areas on the course.
Yeah.
We got a pond, a creek, some bunkers, a green, the cart path. Everything but the target seems to be out of bounds.
And it just plays further than it looks from the tee. You can see the basket is just kind of perched right in that little hole that it doesn't seem like it's that far, but the disc just doesn't get there. You just really have to step up and pump a drive.
And confidently. This, there's some psychology and some...
Oh, wow.
Nice. Yeah, some psychology and some elevation in play there, keeping those drives short. Jordan gives it a good bid, but not quite in the target. We see Ryan digging down into the sand.
It's like quicksand.
He hit the edge there. Yeah, that's a steep edge, and good on you for cleaning up
Oh,
your
yeah.
mess there. Nice.
That's a birdie point coming into you at some point.
There's some karma maybe going to help him make this putt.
I don't know if it's going to help him here, but at some point down in his disc golf career.
Maybe at some other tournament. Probably not on that putt. That didn't look the best effort from Ryan.
He almost somehow putted it lower than the ground, which isn't possible, but he almost did it.
This target is sitting on a storm drain, so maybe he was going for in that hole. I don't know.
Dan off the band. Chilly Willy. Tapping out, and is Bobby still waiting to... Where does Bobby's drive finish?
Bobby, I thought I saw his disc.
I think it's
Maybe
right in front.
there
Right
we
in front of Jordan, and Bobby just stepped up and parked it.
He's waiting for all the peewees to get out of the way.
That's a Alan Beaver nod to the PDGA number 1213. Shout out to the Godfather down here in these parts. Really helped Charlotte get on the map. Put in all these courses down here with the Parks Department. Alan Beaver, if you're listening, we love you, man. Hole 17, 602 feet. I finally caught the distance. This one has been pushed back and around the corner, making the tee shot a blind hyzer to the ideal landing zone. And then once you execute a good tee shot, if this doesn't drift too far out, it's looking pretty good.
Needs
maybe
to hook up a lot. Needs to roll.
Oh yeah.
Check, check, and check. That is inbounds.
Once you get to the landing zone. Then from there, it is actually a blind approach downhill with out of bounds coming in pretty close behind the basket. So there's a lot of different things that can make this hole troubling.
That's wide. Hopefully it's going to do something crazy on the skip.
Oh, yeah.
Good skip. Nice. Not as wide as I thought. That's good. Yeah, the players are throwing across the road, across the fairway, straight towards out of bounds. So you see a lot of hyzer angle on Jordan's tee shot.
That's what you're looking for right there, folks. Obviously, Jordan's been showing he's got a ton of power, but able to keep a lot of hyzer angle on it. Ideal position, as you can see that basket right there over the hillside. Dan as well going with a lot of hyzer, which is really the play. You almost can't throw too much hyzer.
Yeah, it would be really tough to get over into that house over there. You know, we've tried to keep people away from there. It is possible, but it's not likely.
This is pushing that width of the fairway, but is really nice in the middle. We got 4 safe drives on hole 17. 5 safe drives on hole 17. And Will is going the sidearm. Is that going to roll? I think he's going to be happy with that.
I'm going to guess he's about 50 short just from the looks of it. You've really got to push those bushes there and hopefully skip forward down that hill. Lots of obstacles towards the green.
Dan going with the wide hyzer, which brings those hollies into play. But if you hyzer right over it, that'll give him a look. Again, that's going to be a longer look for birdie, but staying safe is the key for now.
Bobby kind of let off the gas a little bit on that shot. It looked like it faded out a little early and left. Hopefully not in the cart path out of bounds.
And you can really see what the players can see from this angle. Completely blind. You have to pick your spot, commit, and throw. And it looks like Will did, in fact, roll down the hill. Is it out of bounds? I don't know.
It looks like he may have gotten caught up in the brambles down there, which is not a fun place to be. But if you're in bounds, it could be worth it. Ooh, good bid. And it looked like Jordan's drive was so long that he was almost in an uncomfortable position there.
Sure.
I mean, throwing something that distance, that straight, is kind of tricky.
Oh, he's got to go for the horseshoe putt. Not something you're looking to do for birdie from 60 feet every once in a while. You might want to pull it out for fun, but not in tournament play.
Yeah, not something most people practice too much.
Oh, that looks so good. Nice putt from Ryan down the hill. Strikes it confidently. Right side, catches it. Rewarded for a nice birdie.
Dan as well. Matches Ryan there.
And he's really just battling himself right now. I mean, this is a new course, so I guess technically he's trying to shoot for course record.
Well, and we do have...
oh, Bobby is down.
Bobby down.
Bobby is down, folks. We need to... Oh, he's good.
Andy got his hat. Okay, good.
Okay, everything's good.
Yeah, one of the
false alarm.
One of the components of the sponsorship by the Ballantyne Resort actually is a hot round bounty.
Oh, that's right.
So Dan does have his sights set on that. He was in the lead after the first round. Bobby almost misses his tap in. But you know, Dan looking at an opportunity to better his score and fend off any would-be challengers on that hot round bounty. Customary handshakes here on the final hole.
Not customary. That's just such a cool... I don't know. I don't mind doing it. I don't mind at all. It's just some people hate it.
You would think you would wait until after you finish.
Yeah, that's what you'd think.
Right?
I guess, but... Hole 18, this is just a hole that when we... Look at this. This is looking real nice. Oh, yeah, that's a walk-off home run right there for Dan.
That's not bad at all. Not even a little bad.
I would say very, very good.
Super not bad. Yeah, and you guys can see the reeds down there by the water are not really moving. The water looks like glass. I mean, this is a beautiful finishing hole.
Needs to get some distance. I think it should be okay. Just it. Oh my! Is he? It looks like he's rock climbing right now. Playing a different sport, but
yeah, he's gonna playing multiple sports and with a long putt for birdie.
That'll work. This is just a hole that we had to keep in through the redesign.
Yeah, this one took some negotiating. Wow.
Woo!
Good line there by Will. Hopefully, yeah, not too much of a roll. Should have a nice little putt coming back at it. You know, the golfers are using the other half of this golf course. So The resort was wanting to take back a little bit more of this land, and I said, well, we got to keep that hole. And so we worked it out and made it happen.
And once again, Ballantyne really accommodating for all of our needs and providing breakfast and lunch for the players.
Yeah, this event, I mean, it's really all about the experience. We end up with a pretty nice payout as well, but we're
jeez,
nice. Jordan throws far.
Yeah, he really does.
And I was gonna say,
Bobby down again. Oh, but he's back on his feet.
He bounced right back that time.
He's resilient.
It's a veteran move, if you fall down,
just get back up, man.
Just don't stay down, and you're good.
Keep fighting.
Ryan looks to have a very interesting stance on about a 30-footer.
Unable to can that one to have a birdie on the finishing hole. 36th hole of the day. Dan Hastings trying not to turn that home run into a double or a fly out. Nope, that's a home run.
Nice.
And Dan is able to secure that course record hot round bounty. Great day for Dan Hastings. Shaking off that off-season rust here in mid-February down here in Charlotte. And Will is able to shoot back-to-back 53s, I believe, which is a solid round. And I believe he's going to hold on to third place. He played really solid all day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Dan with
the
a
scorecard here.
50, moving him to 19 under par.
And there actually was another 49 the second round, so they ended up splitting the hot round bounty.
Just an event that, fortunately, they pushed the event forward 1 week this year, so it allowed me to play it for the first time, and hopefully we can do that again this next year, and love to get back out there and play it. And just want to thank Sublime Flight for capturing it, and Ballantyne Hotel.
Yep, and our sponsors, we had Played Against Sports throwing in the added cash, always coming through huge here in Charlotte, so check them out. There's probably one near you, they're all over. And Innova Disc Golf, of course, couldn't do it without them. Borrowed the targets, lots of support with the player pack, and all that good stuff, as we do with most events. So thank you very much, Innova.
And be looking forward to the 2020 Ballantyne Hotel Open here in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's going to be a great event. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.
All right, here with Dan Hastings after the big event, and you took it down, man. Congrats.
Thank you. The first round I came out pretty solid, round 49. A couple mistakes here and there that I wanted to clean up for round 2. Overall, kind of put up a similar round, one stroke worse. Staying in bounds, capitalizing on the par 4s, getting the birdies there. Had a really fun groups all day, so that always helps you play better. Awesome design out here that Henry and Germ put together. A couple tweaks from the previous years that I've played that I thought really enhanced the course, so it was a really fun round to play.
Yeah, it's definitely beautiful. It's always neat to play a hybrid event. What do you think of these open fairways? Is it a change for you, or?
Yeah, it's definitely not your typical North Carolina golf that I've gotten used to over the last 2 years, but it is a nice change of pace, especially last weekend I was playing Johnson Street, which is a short little technical course in the woods, so it's kind of it's different, and it's a really awesome opportunity that they're able to get out here on this course. Really nice place, Ballantyne Hotel right there. It's just a really awesome opportunity, so whenever we have the possibility, you gotta take advantage of it.
Yeah, you can't beat riding around in golf carts too. It's pretty fun.
Oh yeah, especially when it's this cold, helps stay a little warmer.
What do you do when it's so cold? Do your hands get a little too stiff, or what?
Yeah, being from upstate New York, I kind of got used to this playing in the cold, but my circulation's terrible, so my hands get so cold. And, a lot of my buddies make fun of me for the number of hot hands that I carry around. I'll have anywhere from 4 to 8 hand warmers in my gloves, just making sure I stay warm. Once I get cold, I'm done. So I'd make sure I'm thick hoodie, gloves, hat, just staying warm.
So your toboggan, your hoodie, you got discraft now. So what are you throwing these days?
Courses like this, it's a lot of forces. Pretty much every hole I felt like I was either throwing a force or a zone. Really trusty in any sort of wind that comes up, and just on those long bombs here, all about placement, and it's really just nice. You can get on the force and you know how it's going to finish. So it felt good out here today.
So how about last week over at Johnson Street when you need to hit those tight fairways? What kind of mid-ranges are you throwing?
That course, I was pretty much throwing a Challenger SS or a zone on almost every hole for both rounds. Like I said, it's really short, like everything's within like the 200 range. So I'm either flicking a zone or backhanding a Challenger SS through the entire course.
Got this season getting revved up. You planning on doing any traveling? Or?
Come June, I'm a teacher, so come June, that's kind of when I hit the road. I just signed up for Ledgestone last week, so I'll be doing Ledgestone, hopefully getting up to Michigan, and then I'll be doing Idlewild again this year.
Yeah, sounds great. Sounds like you got good things ahead of you. Keep up the momentum. You're getting it done, and congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, it's my first discraft win, so it's good to get that one out here.
Let's hear it for yourselves, because it's freezing and you all made it all day, so thank you. First things first, I heard we had one ace, Josh Smith. I heard it was an awesome shot. Tell us about it real quick.
It was on 16, the water deck hole, and I threw a Valk on straight hyzer and it just flipped up flat, came back and just smashed it. It was definitely out of bounds, but didn't hit.
Super.
Yeah, there you go.
But it did hit, so he gets 250 bucks. We had a hot round bounty provided by the Ballantyne Hotel, which is very nice, $250. It looks like it's being split between, with a 49, that's 10 down, Dan Hastings and Brandon Brown.
Nice.
Good shoot. Make some change. Yep. Let's do some trophies here. What do y'all say? Winning first place in her division, Tara Richardson. Enjoy. Masters coming out on top by a hefty little margin of 12 strokes, Giancarlo Anselmo.
Thanks, man.
Congrats.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. That is awesome.
All right, coming out on top in the intermediate division, 115 strokes. That's an 8-stroke margin of victory, Johnny Stover. All right, coming out on top of the advanced division by 1 stroke, 116 throws for the day, Brad Rogerson.
It's my first time here. I'll definitely be coming back. This was a good piece of property to play on, man. This is awesome. Thank you.
In pro, that's actually a 3-way tie for 6th place, 109 throws apiece. Austin Turner, Brad Ramsey, and Jeremy Coley. Where's Austin? Good straight.
Congrats, Dan. Thanks, Henry. See y'all next year. It'll be better. Of course, it'll be better. Harder.
Yeah, we're gonna just rotate backwards.
It'll be harder.
Time for 4th place. One of them coming all the way from New York. Will Taylor and Bobby Jones. They're gonna end up with 220 bucks apiece.
And a title kissing your roots. I have to say thank you, Prodigy, and everybody here.
So time for 2nd place, 105 throws apiece. Brandon Brown and Stephen Miller. Shooting.
And thanks to Henry and thanks to Prodigy Disc.
Innova, and this is the first time I've been down here, right? I've seen the videos. Wow. I was skeptical with it being on a disc or a ball golf course, but man, you did a heck of a job. Amazing experience.
Thank you very much. Thanks for saying that. Thanks to Paul Windsor, Sublime Flight, for getting all this so that we can share it with everybody who's not here with us. Okay, we had one player under 100 throws for the day. That's good shooting. 99 strokes, Dan Hastings, $600.
I just want to thank Henry, and we know Elise does all the work behind the scenes, so thank you as well. And Ballantyne for letting us out on this course. This is my 3rd year coming here. It's actually my first tournament I played in North Carolina when we're down here looking for houses. Absolutely love the course. Great changes this year. Finally take some advanced input and shows. Love it. Thank you Discraft. Thank you Ridge Roller Custom Carts. My wife for coming out and doing the hard work and caddying with the cart. And thanks to everyone I played. It was a really fun day of golf.
All right, everybody. I gave everything away. I think I'm out.